And welcome to Thrift Shop Biography. This is the one about Julie Andrews. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Cleo.
Oh, hello, Richard.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you today?
I've been enjoying the book we got this week. Have you?
I have, actually, yes. Julie Andrews. It's called Homework, which is not a good title.
No, it's
not. Because that's chore.
Yeah.
And I actually find that she is so... what was the word? It's like she's done her homework to write this book. It's almost pulled out of her because she's written diaries all her life and she's diligently copied it out to make a book.
Right.
It actually feels a bit like homework.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Do you know what I kind of got from the title, like when I finished reading it?
Yeah.
Her home life is just like such a mess. She's always fighting fires. Her family is so dysfunctional.
Yes.
I wondered if she even realises that calling the book Homework means that her home is work, and when she goes off to sing and dance, that's having fun.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's a nightmare family. I'm surprised she ever went home.
Oh, my God, I know. I know. She came from a nightmare family and then sort of created a nightmare in her own life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, does this mean that she is a nightmare herself, maybe?
I wonder.
Because she doesn't tell us
that. I do wonder. I think she's a lot of people's ideal mother, but you sort of want to say, you don't know the half of it. You might want someone else that's like at home more, you know.
I do think that people think of her as the quintessential perfect English lady.
Yes, because she's Mary Poppins and she's the nanny in The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
So she must be perfect. She's practically perfect in every way.
In every way. Is that from one of the films?
Yeah. It's Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it.
Right, don't tell me you've never seen Mary Poppins.
I just did.
Have you never seen Mary Poppins?
I've never seen Mary Poppins.
I'm going to have a lie down. You have to give me 5 minutes. You've outdone yourself. I can't believe my ears.
Well, it's a kid's film, isn't it?
How do you miss it? It's on every Christmas. You can't miss it.
I always watch The Wizard of Oz, which is probably on at the same time.
Oh, my God. That's insane. I tell you what, I know you see The Sound of Music, because many years ago when we were housemates, we both found out we hadn't seen it and we sat down and watched it together.
We watched it together.
We did.
Remembered that when I was reading this book.
Yeah, we did.
I remember Adam and Chrissy were in the pub waiting for us.
Yeah.
And we were meant to go. And then The Sound of Music came on the TV and we sat down and watched it. And then we realised we hadn't watched it, got totally engrossed.
Yeah.
And like 2 hours later, they were like, where the hell are you?
Yeah. We're both watching it for the first time. And it's
for the
really
first
important.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to sit you down and make you watch Mary Poppins next. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I don't fancy Mary Poppins.
It's just, I can't, I'm speechless. Right, anyway, we should talk about his book. I will have a lie down later. I am gobsmacked.
Oh, forget Mary Poppins. I've not seen her in any other films. And I was very surprised that there's a couple of other very big films.
Yeah, I know.
And I did not know that Julie Andrews was the lead in them, but we can talk about
me
those
neither.
in a minute.
Agreed.
Yeah, like Schindler's List. I didn't know she was the lead in
Stop it.
And Jaws.
No.
I didn't know she
I
played
said
the
Jaws.
shark.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Right, let's start.
Julie Andrews.
Actually called Julia Wells. Julia
Wells. Born in Surrey.
Walton-on-Thames. Yeah, so it's not that far out of London. It's like 20 miles or something. 40, I don't know.
It's 1935.
So that makes her really old. She's still alive. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's this book, right? Okay, so this book's her second memoir. She'd written her first one. It's called Home. That covers her childhood all the way through World War II and her early years in vaudeville. But luckily for us, she begins with a recap, so we now know all about it.
Without having to read a whole book.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
If only everybody would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So her mother's dad was a coal miner and her mother's mum was a chambermaid, so very humble people. But she'd managed to nearly become a classical pianist from those humble beginnings. But both her parents died when she was 18 and it totally sidetracked her, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because she sort of then had to look after her sister, 13.
Yeah, so it's just her, it's Julie Andrews' mum, it's just her at 18 and her sister at 13. And then they meet this man called Ted Wells, who's a teacher. And mum falls in love with Ted Wells and they get a small cottage together with the 13-year-old sister. But they call the cottage, they call it a threesome.
Yeah, I know. Very strange.
That's very weird.
Yes, it is.
Do you think they knew the connotation of that? They can't have done.
I don't know.
Because you wouldn't call it threesome. Because why would you?
You would not.
Even if that was going on, you wouldn't tell your neighbours.
One of them's 13.
Exactly. Just going to call our house Menage a Trois.
Yeah, that's right. It never says that her mum fell in love with him. It actually says that her dad took on her mum and her sister.
Right.
So I sort of imagine her dad loved her, but you're never sure whether it was the other way around.
Because she kind of had to in a way, because all of a sudden their parents were gone and she was 18 and she had to care for her sister. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
This is pre-war, right? And do you know what? I think a lot of women probably did that.
Yeah, I agree.
Women were reliant on men 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
They didn't have like independent bank accounts and stuff.
No, and there weren't really so many jobs. I mean, obviously there's a chambermaid, but there's not so many jobs as there were during and after the war.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, they then had 2 kids. The first one was John, and then they had Julie in 1935. And then her mother, who was obviously brilliant at the piano, went on tour playing the piano for a Canadian tenor called Ted Andrews. And you can see it coming once you hear the surname.
Yeah.
Yeah, she took off with this Ted Andrews and left the dad and took Julie, just Julie. So left the dad with John.
Yeah.
Split them up. Took Julie to London, which is really sad.
That's really harsh on the boy. Well, actually, it's harsh on Julie because she didn't like it.
Yeah.
She didn't like living in London.
No.
Oh, and war is happening.
Yeah, then war happens. It's 1939. I mean, she's only 4. Obviously, London's being bombed, there's air raids.
Yeah.
No, it's a terrible time to be in London. It's the worst time.
Yeah, they're having to scarper down the underground as well
Yeah.
to shelter and stuff. It's that real blitz London experience.
Oh, proper.
For like a 5-year-old girl, yeah.
Yeah, and then her dad's in the countryside having a lovely time. And every time she goes to visit her dad, she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
It tears her apart to leave them.
But not
And also
least
that
because,
Ted,
the new dad is not a nice man.
he's trouble.
He's a drinker.
He's not nice. And he becomes a proper alcoholic and he's violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and angry and all that stuff. But, of course, he's a singer. So he gives Julie lessons and they were very surprised to find she has a lovely voice.
Yeah.
Hang on, she's only 4. It's amazing. And then as she gets better, he puts her onto his singing teacher, who's a legendary singing teacher.
Yes.
And those are lessons she's kept for the rest of her whole life. So that really elevated her.
Her name is Madame Lillian Stiles Allen.
Yeah.
Which actually could be Lily Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Lillian Allen. But I didn't realise how revered she was because she has her own autobiography.
Does she?
Yeah, so back in the day, she was the singing teacher.
Right.
And they, little Julie was showing enough promise that they sent her to like the leading singing teacher. And Julie Andrews calls her like a second mother. They really adored each other and she really got the best out of her,
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
Yeah, that's really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say lucky. I'm not sure I'd have wished this life on anyone. I'm not completely sure. Because, then after the war, it was 1945, she went on tour with her mum and pop and they did the vaudeville circuit. And it's really gruelling, especially for a kid.
Yeah.
These dirty dressing rooms and travelling every week.
Well, we know this because we read Gypsy Rose Lee, right?
Yeah.
But at least
exactly.
Gypsy Rose Lee had her sister and there were other kids in their troupe, whereas Julie Andrews is just on her own with her mum and this violent alcoholic man.
Yeah, right.
And that's her life, literally.
She actually says that it was a bleak existence. That's pretty bad.
Bleak is bad.
Bleak is bad. Yeah.
Bleak with the backdrop of war.
Yeah.
On the vaudeville circuit.
Yeah, exactly. It's only an existence.
While her brother is just living in the country.
Yeah, having a lovely time.
Drinking lashings of ginger beer.
Yeah. Do you know what? She doesn't talk about her brother for the rest of this book, does she?
Oh.
I don't think she does.
Interesting. Nothing.
She talks about her little half-brother, Christopher, and other kids, but it's nothing of her brother.
Oh.
Don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I do. Yeah.
Perhaps he didn't want her to.
Yeah.
Perhaps he said, "Don't write about me in your book, Julie Andrews."
Yeah. Maybe that's what he said. Anyway, so her mum and pop moved to this big house in Walton, back home basically. And it's a really big house.
Yes, her grandmother used to work in that house as a chambermaid.
And her sister ran a dance school on the property because they had so much space. She made a place into a studio. And so she learned to dance in the grounds of her own house. So this really explains where she got all of these skills. She was surrounded by it.
Is she a good dancer?
Yes.
Oh, I've never seen her dance.
Even in The Sound of Music, she's a good dancer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Well, she did a waltz, didn't she?
Yeah.
I don't really remember the dancing. I just think of her as an amazing singer.
Oh, right, okay. You have to watch Over the Rooftop Step in Time.
What's that?
It's a number from the film you've never seen, Mary Poppins.
Oh, is it a Mary Poppins number? Okay.
Yes.
I'll watch it on YouTube.
I've got to lie down again. Can't believe my ears.
I've seen Sherry Bobbins.
What's that? Is that a drag Mary Poppins?
This The Simpsons did Mary Poppins.
Oh.
And they called her Sherry Bobbins.
Right.
And when she flew off at the end, she got hit by a plane.
No.
Does that happen in Mary Poppins?
I'm not telling you have to watch it.
I'd watch it if that happened.
So then she got cast in a musical revue in London. She's only 10, called Prodigy, and she had to leave school at 10. They got her a tutor, but I bet she learned nothing. She was in that for a year, and then she got Humpty Dumpty the Panto, and at that point, she's only 11. She plays the egg or something. She actually played the egg.
Yeah, she plays the egg. She's extremely versatile, isn't she?
Yeah.
She can play nannies and eggs.
Yeah. She's a cracking good actor.
Hey!
Hey! Excellent.
Excellent.
And so at 11, she's getting a train on her own to London, right? And she says there's these really rowdy boys in the front row of the audience. And then they ended up on the train back with her. And one of them worked out where she lived and came to her house the next day. That's her future husband, Tony Walton.
So he was a predatory 12-year-old.
Look, stop that with your predatory.
How old was he?
She was 11, he was probably 12. It was really innocent, right? But I mean, he becomes a legend in his own right.
Yeah, it's amazing,
Not just
isn't
through
it?
marrying her. He's an amazing theatre designer. Yeah, he had an amazing career. It's actually astounding what he achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who sort of were elevated out of normal kids, because his mind would have already been higher than his friends, I reckon. Do you know what I mean?
Right, so
or
actually
creative.
seeing her, when he was in the front row watching her on stage, he didn't just see a pretty girl.
I want to be part of
He
this.
saw the whole thing, didn't he?
Yeah, this is a world I want.
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did. 'Cause it's too amazing otherwise.
What's his name? Tony?
Tony Walton. And they actually needed each other. You know, she'd lived a long life by her age, you know.
Right.
She's gone through a lot already, you know. She had an alcoholic dad at home, and then her mum had turned alcoholic at this point as well. She needed someone else.
Yeah, she's got a couple of half-brothers now, hasn't she?
Yeah, her dad's had another kid as well, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, she needs to escape.
She did. She really did.
She needs to get out of there.
Yeah, and in London, they're calling her a prodigy. They're saying she's amazing.
Yeah, and she's the main, at the age of like 13, 14, she becomes the main breadwinner for the family because they're both alcoholics. I guess they're not working as much. They got 2 young boys to look after. They're sending Julie out. Julie's on a grueling schedule just to keep that household going.
Yeah.
Because they're in that big house now.
Yeah, they've got a massive mortgage.
And they take her money and they give her £1 a week.
Yeah, and her little brother Chris got sent to boarding school when he was only 4.
Yeah.
Just to get him out the way so they could tour and drink and fall over and hit each other. I know, and he was miserable.
Well, that explains a lot because we'll find out
He
later,
went off
he's
the
not a
rails.
happy boy at all, is he?
No, he's not happy at all, no.
Oh, boarding school should be banned. We've not read a single book about anybody going there and having a nice time, have we?
No, I don't think we have.
Apart from the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was a headmaster who got to cane all the young boys. I think he had a good time.
Yeah, I know.
Perverts.
They just are, yeah, they are.
Oh, hey, don't forget, there was this time when Julie Andrews is like 13 and she goes out to a party with her mum.
Yeah.
And she says that this man, who she'd never seen before, come over and took a real interest in her. And Julie Andrews is a bit like, well, this is a bit weird. And then afterwards, her mum, who was drunk, said to her, that's actually your real dad.
Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Not at all. And she said, does my dad know? And she said, yes. So he took her on, knowing he wasn't her dad. And she just said that she just thought it was beautiful of her dad to have this selfless love for her. And, he loved her whole life.
Yeah.
And actually, it made her love him more. He must be a lovely, lovely man. She's nothing but lovely things to say about him.
And you know what? You know what you said at the beginning about maybe the mum not really loving Ted that much, but just going with him because she kind of had to.
She needed a husband.
She needed a husband. Well, look, she was out having affairs and getting pregnant by other men. So you're right about that.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes, and this is why she's such a mess. You know, she had a breakdown, a full-on breakdown around this time, and actually sold the house. She actually got Julie Andrews to buy the house. She was 17. She bought Mum and Dad's massive house. That's the house with all that property and the dance studio and everything.
Yeah, wow.
And took on the mortgage. So now the whole mortgage for that house is on her shoulders at 17. Never mind worrying about her kid brother and everything. It's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it is. Poor Julie.
It was 1953, right? And then she went on a 30-week tour, which would have earned her a packet, but literally week by week. And she's on her own in digs. She's really lonely. Oh, she said, the theatres were grim and it was like post-war theatres.
Yeah.
People were drunk. It was smoking in the audience, travelling all the time.
Right.
And she started thinking, oh my God, I've got no education. I've got no prospects. I've got a massive mortgage. What the hell is going to happen to me? And then suddenly she lands the title role in Cinderella at the London Palladium.
Amazing.
Which is a massively glamorous job. And I bet it's really well paid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so she's sorted. She's absolutely sorted. Then she gets offered The Boyfriend, which is a musical, on Broadway on the back of Cinderella, and she's off.
Isn't that amazing?
She's off.
It's like she obviously was known within the industry, which is how she got the lead role of Cinderella at the Palladium. And it's almost like as soon as she was put in front of people and gained more recognition, everybody wanted her for their lead roles and stuff. So it's because she's flipping amazing.
She's really good. Yeah, you cannot doubt it. She didn't even want to go, though, because she was so worried about her mum and her little brother. And like when they had her leaving party, her stepdad smashed all the windows in the house. And her mum had to get a restraining order out for him just to give her time to pack up and go in safety.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, it says she's on the plane with all the cast and they're all happy and excited. She's depressed and worried, lonely. And I tell you what, this feeling haunts her really, doesn't it, for most of her life?
It does, but she gets over it quite quickly because she seems to just choose work over family, more or less, from here on in, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. You're right. That is what she does. Yeah.
No, but she does feel bad, but she does. I don't think it's easy decisions, but ultimately she lands on the side of work.
Yeah. There you go. She's torn between work and worrying that she's not there for her family for the rest of her life. There you go.
Well, you know what? All of this family at the moment, that's not like her kids or anything. That's her family. That, you know, I don't blame her as a 17, 18-year-old getting away and going to Broadway. And do you know what? Just because she is lovely Julie Andrews with the amazing voice playing nannies and, you know, being this perfect English woman, actually she's getting the same offers that rock stars get at the age of 19. They're all flying off and leaving their families behind.
Of course they
you know
are.
What I mean, it's just what you do.
Yeah, and it was not even her family. Yeah, it's her mum's problem.
Yeah, it is.
Technically.
It is.
She just takes it all on. She's taking it all on her shoulders, poor woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a really old soul, really.
Well, she's lived a life, hasn't she, up to this point?
She's had to become one. Yeah, definitely. So she's on Broadway for a year in The Boyfriend, and from that she gets 2-year contract in My Fair Lady on Broadway.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So she's just an instant hit.
Yeah, and that made her famous.
Yeah, Lerner and Lowe actually chose her for Eliza Doolittle, didn't they?
Yeah, very much so. She's playing opposite Rex Harrison, who's already a legend.
Kind of reading between the lines. He's a bit of a shit, isn't he?
Yeah, I reckon he is. She said he was really impatient with her.
Yeah.
But that's also the part.
Right.
You know, he's right for the part.
Oh, I've never seen My Fair Lady either.
I'm no longer surprised.
I just don't really like films with songs in.
Oh, fair.
I like Grease.
You can have that. You might enjoy these. That's the thing. You probably would enjoy them because they're good films.
Well, I like The Sound of Music, and that's got songs in.
Yeah, you would enjoy it because they're so good. But obviously, when they made the film of My Fair Lady, they kept the same people, Rex Harrison and Stan Holloway, but they replaced her with Audrey Hepburn. I guess because she was more famous a film actor.
Oh, yeah, she was the biggest box office pull of that era, wasn't she?
Yeah, but it really was the stage show on film. You just have to switch her in your mind Because she must have been brilliant to do 2-year contract, and then she did another 2 years back in London, didn't she, in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Huge.
yeah. Audrey Hepburn didn't sing in the film. It was Marnie Nixon who used to dub a lot of the
she was
actresses.
dubbed.
I mean, Julie Andrews says she totally understands that, Julie Andrews has 0 box office clout.
Yeah.
And Audrey Hepburn is a massive star, so she understands it happened, and she's quite pragmatic about it in the book. But I bet that stung for a while, actually, seeing the people you're on stage with translating to the film version.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But actually, you've been left behind.
Yeah, if she hadn't have got Mary Poppins, that was being filmed at the exact time that My Fair Lady was being filmed, she might have been a bit fed up, especially if she'd never got much further with her career because of it, but she obviously did. So there's room for everyone. She was she'd gone into Camelot then, this new musical. And Walt Disney came to see Camelot. He'd said, I'm making this film Mary Poppins. I want you to be in it. And she said, I'm pregnant. And so he said, we'll wait for you. So they actually waited 9 months.
Wow. Actual Walt Disney, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, Walt Disney himself. Yeah, this is the coolest part to me. Her husband, Tony, because they'd married by now, was in the dressing room. And he said, well, what do you do? He said, I'm a designer of theatre. Well, let me see your portfolio. And so he brings his portfolio in to show Walt Disney. And Walt Disney says, yeah, you're really talented. Will you come and design Mary Poppins? Set and costume. Never designed a film before. Hardly done much theatre yet.
Wow.
It's a beautifully designed Mary Poppins. Legendary. Even her costume he designed, which is, it's so famous.
Is it?
Yeah, and she just describes the sets and the interiors, the exteriors, the streets with lamps and doorknobs and the attention to detail, and that was all Tony. Her Tony. Yeah, and the inner life he gave Mary Poppins by giving her sort of slightly more fruity petticoats and stuff to, or softer wigs when she was out with her beau, Dick Van Dyke, and, just really attention to detail from somebody who just shouldn't have known all of that stuff yet.
Wow.
Amazing, really talented, and he obviously, it was kind of the downfall of their marriage because he became extremely successful and they were never in the same state or country at the same time ever again almost.
Yeah.
It is amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing, actually. No, I thought as I was reading how almost like at the beginning when Walt Disney offers them both these amazing jobs, it's perfect because they can both, be on the same film set and live in the same house.
Yeah.
But then actually, you're right, as they both become successful, well, they're totally moving in different directions due to the success. So.
And they've got a kid at this point, of course.
Emma. Yeah. So Julie Andrews totally has just knocked the socks off of everyone, hasn't she?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, and Mary Poppins was the first film role she ever had.
Yeah.
I think she had a couple of small TV bits and obviously a huge amount of experience on stage, but she got the lead title role in Mary Poppins, having
in
never
a Disney film.
Yeah, having never been on a film set before. Wow.
Amazing, isn't it? There's lots of good Mary Poppins facts in here for Poppins fans. I can't repeat them all, but you'd have to read it. If anyone's, really into it, there's lots of good little facts, like the Feed the Bird song where she's sitting on the steps of Trafalgar Square. They just made a really small amount of Trafalgar Square steps and the rest of it is put on afterwards with actually matte painting. I can't believe that. I might have to watch that again.
Oh, you mean like a cartoon?
Yeah, it's all painted. Yeah, so they would know where. I've gone to the steps in Trafalgar Square and gone, oh, this is where she sat. I'm an idiot.
And she wasn't there?
She wasn't even there.
Wow.
There's loads of fun facts. Yeah, there's loads of fun facts about it in this anyway. So, there you go.
And, hey.
What?
She won an Oscar.
She won an Oscar for Best Female Person.
Yeah, for Best Actress in a Leading Role Oscar for her very first film role. I wonder if that's ever happened before or after. Somebody's first role.
But it's literally like her millionth hour performing, you know what I mean? Because she's just grown up doing it. Poor woman. Oh, I tell you what, right, this makes me laugh. She'd actually seen The Sound of Music on Broadway. She says she was unimpressed, which is probably quite polite. And then she did a spoof on her TV show with Carol Burnett in 1962. I watched it this morning.
Did you?
Called The Pratt Family Singers. Yeah. totally taking the piss out of The Sound of Music.
Wow.
Completely. Basically saying that they make horrible sounds.
No kidding. Wow.
Like, "Do a dear." You know, that's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's just really, really ripping it apart. And she had no idea that she would be cast in it. So that was 1962, and they filmed it in 1964. And there's also tons of inside information about this, you know, just on-set stories. Are good to read. They're good fun to read.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, I said my favourite thing is they went to Salzburg, measured it, and came back, like all the locations they could use, and sort of mocked them up in the rehearsal rooms in LA and did all the dances in the place so that when they got to Salzburg, they could just go straight to the location and just do the job, film it, go.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It is. And I've just remembered the bit where she's on the boat on the lake with all of the kids and it tips up and they all fall in the water.
Oh, yeah.
They said to Julie Andrews before the take, just about to call action, they said, "Oh, look out for the little one because she can't swim."
Shit.
So she's having to do the scene, and as soon as the boat tips in the water, she's frantically trying to find this little girl who can't swim. And then on the second take,
Yeah, 'cause they went
she went
different
over the
sides.
different side of the boat.
Yeah, and the poor girl was going under, and the crew had to go in and rescue her. I love that you find this funny.
No, it just goes. There was like literally no health and safety on film sets 50
None
years ago.
at all.
It's just action.
Yeah, they're like,
Deal with it later.
she coughed up all the water and they treated her really nicely. Oh my God.
Basically drowned a child on
Yeah,
The Sound
yeah.
of Music. Wow.
Oh my God, yeah. It sounds hideous. Permanently raining and there's like ox-drawn carts having to take all the cast and crew and all the equipment into the Alpine mountains, and they can't even film like one scene before it rains. How miserable. And she was miserable and depressed and lonely again.
Yeah.
And she didn't have her husband. And...
You know what's also interesting? She had filmed Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music and another film called The Americanization of Emily.
Yes.
She'd filmed all three, but none of them were released yet. So she had all of these films in the bag, and she had no idea that like a year later she would be one of the biggest actresses of the era.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, because they have to do so much. Like Mary Poppins, well over a year of adding all the animation and all the trickery.
Right, yeah.
So much more to it. Mm. Yeah, no, it's crazy. The Americanization of Emily doesn't sound like it was a big hit. James Garner.
Yeah, I watched the trailer of it. It's like a proper old black and white film. It's funny because The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins are Technicolor.
So colourful,
You just
yeah.
imagine the other films she's making at that time were also Technicolor, but actually we're still in the era of black and white for a lot of films.
Yeah, the Carol Burnett shows I was watching were all black and white. Well, the ones I was watching.
Yeah, she really seems to have a great friendship with Carol Burnett, doesn't she?
Yeah, they're really good. They really play off each other. Yeah, because Carol Burnett's sort of funnier. She's sort of more worthy. You know, Julie.
Right.
That's how they present themselves anyway.
Uh-huh.
That's a really good partnership. Great voices. Brilliant.
So she's totally, like now, she is just a bona fide star.
Yes.
You know, she is part of Hollywood now. She's
Established.
a big, exciting shooting star, isn't she? Well, she's not a
Yes, she
shooting star
is.
because shooting stars burn out. She just shoots forever.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the moon.
But see, I didn't realise, or I'd forgotten, that she did a Hitchcock film with Paul Newman.
Yes, Torn Curtain. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
must have seen that. It didn't stick with me that it was her.
No, me neither, which tells you two things. It was really unrememberable.
Yeah, memorable. Yeah.
Or she's such a good actress you don't realise it's her.
Yeah.
Or she doesn't sing.
Oh, yes. So who cares?
If she doesn't sing, you might not know it was
Yeah.
her.
Oh, yes. Anyway, around this time, she meets her next husband, Blake Edwards, who is an absolute bloody legend, it turns out. Right, so she's been seeing a therapist. She goes to see a therapist.
Oh, like 5 times a week.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, she goes literally every single day. I mean, I don't know how she does have time to see her kid. The answer is she doesn't. Literally. How much? You're literally filming all day and you manage an hour a day to see your therapist. When are you seeing your kid?
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, you see, she's having to go and see the therapist to talk about how bad she feels for not seeing her kid when she could be just at home seeing her kid.
Yeah, that's right, though. That's right. I know. Well, the thing with the therapy is she actually says that she totally had a total weeping breakdown for the first time in her life because since she was 10, she's been earning money and trying to keep her family afloat. And more burdens got put on her shoulders. And then you've got the burden of holding a Broadway show together and then a film and then another film and a family, and your marriage is failing. So you can see why she would have a massive breakdown at this point.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And first time the therapist says, "Are you happy?" And she loses the plot because no one's asked her it before, It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So she really was ripe to find someone else as well. She had the same boyfriend since she was 11 as well.
Yeah, right.
And that's failed. That must be gutting.
Yeah.
Your foundations have crumbled.
Yeah, it's just being hugely successful, both people being hugely successful and then just never really spending any time together.
That's it.
And when you do, you're exhausted, so it's not like quality time,
No. So, she meets Blake Edwards, who I've just found out actually directed Breakfast at Tiffany's. She doesn't mention that.
She doesn't, just because she hates Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But so he's already a legendary director, important director, Blake Edwards. He's done loads. He's actually done tons. I looked at his CV. It's amazing.
And I think they actually make it work by working together a lot.
They do. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a bit older. He's 43 and he's separated and he's got 2 kids.
Yeah.
But he's not an easy man. He's got a fiery temper and he's depressive and he's addictive, but he's unbelievably charismatic and funny, and he does sound amazing but a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like the best people are.
Yeah, he's got 2 kids from his marriage, but his ex-wife obviously is not taking it well that he has left her to go and shack up with Julie Andrews.
But, because she says that he was already separated.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, she's not a happy lady, is she?
She's not happy. She tries to kill herself quite often.
Yeah. And constantly phoning up. Well, like when Julie and Blake are together, his ex-wife will phone up and say, "I've taken pills.
Yeah.
I phoned up to say goodbye." And he has to keep her on the phone while Julie Andrews phones her doctor, and the doctor breaks in while they're on the phone.
I
mean, that's horrible.
It's horrible.
Terribly sad for that woman.
Oh, my God.
But it's really, really awful to have that pressure on your relationship as well.
Yeah, it really is. And there's one point down the line where he actually gets his ex-wife to design the costumes for a film that Julie's in, and it ends up working out quite well.
Yeah, it does actually, because I think Julie Andrews didn't want it to happen initially, and Blake was like, "Come on, we need to give her a good life for the sake of the kids, at least." And then actually, when they end up getting on together well, don't they, Julie and the ex-wife?
Yeah, they do.
But the kids are fucked up.
Oh my God. From the beginning of the book, it's families in crisis, isn't it? Whether it's her childhood, and then it's like Blake's kids are in and out of trouble.
I was surprised, actually, reading this book, that she had so much of her family life in it.
Oh my God, loads.
It's like, and I actually thought about those kids thinking, do they want Julie Andrews writing about this stuff?
Yeah.
Because they obviously had really troubled...
But then that's her life.
Yeah, it is. But I think I would say as much of this book is about her being a mother, etc., and a wife, as it is about her Hollywood career. And it surprised me that she told us so much.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
It's like a soap opera.
Yeah, but then that is her life.
Yeah, no, it is her life.
Yeah, she literally is describing how she's trying to juggle work and like home and work. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Actually, so I'm not surprised she's got a therapist 5 days a week.
This is mad. But yeah, oh my God. So yeah, Blake's daughter, when they came to visit eventually, she ends up getting spotted when she's visiting, gets cast as Heidi. So that'd be the Heidi that I watched when I was growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, so she ends up being a bit of a child star. And then he's got another kid, Jeffrey, they give him jobs sometimes on films, which seems to sort them out. But then they're getting drunk and smoking, and then they end up on drugs, and they're in and out of prison. I mean, it's just terrible.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, I feel bad for Jeffrey now thinking about it. So he had that really unsettled childhood, and then his sister becomes a golden girl.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Heidi.
Yeah.
And Jeff is just kind of there smoking pot at the age
of
of
with the crew. I don't know, yeah. Yeah, and then Julie's little brother Chris is visiting, and he's getting into drugs.
Oh,
she's buying him things, and he's selling
a
them to get drugs, and he gets done selling drugs, which is bad. And she has to save him from a 14-year jail sentence She actually calls a judge and gets him deported instead. Her mum's drinking, her stepdad dies. This is just to summarise it all. Life is a mess.
Yeah.
And that's not even including, then she suddenly decides to adopt 2 Vietnamese orphans. Because she's been talking to Andre Previn and Mia Farrow.
Oh, God.
And goes and brings 2 orphans in, which is a brilliant thing to do, unless you're never at home to see them. So you're never there for them.
Oh, I know. I was really torn when I was reading this. So they got one girl from Vietnam and they loved her, obviously. And then soon after they thought about getting another one. And then Julie Andrews a couple years later says the nanny who had been looking after these girls got another job. And these 2 orphans didn't take it very well. And then Julie Andrews is like, of course, you have to realise they were in an orphanage. So they got abandonment issues. And it's like, you've abandoned them yourself.
Oh, my God.
You brought them over from an orphanage in Vietnam, probably had a nice little bit when they settled into the house. And then you abandoned them and put a nanny in place.
Exactly. Oh, my God. It's like you might have visited them half an hour a night.
Yeah.
You say you really try to factor them in, to your schedule. She also then goes off she's determined to make a home in Switzerland, Gstaad. I think that's how you say it. And to be there, you have to spend a certain amount of time there. So she's always wandering off there, and she's not even taking those kids with her half the time. She's leaving them in LA with nannies and stuff. They're just so she can have a house there. It's like, oh my God, you've got 10, 12, 20 priorities, and the kids are just one.
Yeah.
And yes, of course they need some continuity. And that those nannies come and go, and every time they're really disturbed. And then she'll say something like, well, I've got to admit the kids were really playing up and it's becoming really difficult. And you're like, oh my God. You're creating a terrible nightmare for yourself and everyone else.
The choice to adopt those kids was a weird one, I thought.
It's not brilliant.
Because she already has kids and she knows how much time she can't spend with them. So why are you bringing 2 more into the home to not spend time with?
That's exactly it. Her lovely Emma is suffering as well. Now she's got 2 more. Oh, it's just all those kids needed them. The ones they already created, never mind bringing 2 more in and just giving them nannies.
Because the ones they created need more attention.
They do.
They're going off the rails.
Yes.
But, just get a couple more.
I know.
Oh, dear. Julie Andrews.
That is running alongside film after film after film as mostly successes, the odd flop.
Actually, do you know what's interesting? It's just like the dichotomy between Mary Poppins and Maria von Trapp.
Yeah.
And actually Julie Andrews being a mother in real life.
Yeah, I know.
It's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really different.
I just don't think, like reading all these books, like we said that boarding schools should be banned. Mm-hmm. Actually reading all of these books, hugely successful, famous people should just not have children, full stop.
I know.
Because the more we read, the kids are really fucked up.
They often are, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's unusual when they're not.
It is unusual when they're not. That is true. Phil Collins' son is doing brilliantly as a drummer. I'm going to throw that in the mix. And his daughter, Lily Collins. Legendary.
Oh, and Bananarama's kids seem to be cool.
Yes, there are exceptions, but yeah. Never take advice from Mia Farrow is the other thing.
Oh my God, never take advice from Mia Farrow.
Never.
Do you know how many books have we read now? Hundreds. Mia Farrow really sticks out as like the worst one we've read, alongside Errol Flynn, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, it's awful. Yeah, don't take advice from Mia Farrow. Are you kidding? Especially about motherhood and children. Christ. Oh my God.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what happens in 1967, shall I? Well, they've made a film called Star, which was about Gertie Lawrence, partner, sort of theatre partner of Noel Coward. 125 outfits she wore in it. 185 sets were built for it. $14 million budget in 1967, and it was a flop.
Wow.
That's shocking, and now I really want to watch it.
That's like a different set every 30 seconds.
Oh my God, that's nuts, isn't it?
That's mad.
Yeah.
Why is it considered a flop? Because the budget was so big and it never made it back, or was it like a critical flop?
Yeah, it didn't make it back. Nobody went to see it, I guess.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a terrible film.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't mean it was a terrible film. It just means
you should check it out.
Yeah, it might be good.
But no, actually, having said that, films that sometimes don't do well at the box office over time generally become classics in retrospect, and this one hasn't, so it's probably just crap.
Yeah, it might just be crap. Yeah, oh, and Henry Mancini is always putting the music into all of Blake's films, so that's worth noting because he's amazing.
So she makes a lot of films with Blake, doesn't she?
Yeah, loads.
Does he do Thoroughly Modern Millie?
Yeah, that's an absolute classic.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. Is that terrible?
Oh my God, can't believe it. I'm going to have to go for a lie down. Can't believe you haven't watched Thoroughly Modern Millie.
You haven't seen it, have you?
It's my favourite film.
No, it's not. But it's a stage show as well. It's really famous. I should have seen that.
I'm surprised you haven't.
I am a bit surprised. Of course, all this time, Blake was making these Pink Panther films with Peter Sellers. Well, I've seen most of them multiple times. Of course, the last ones were a bit dodgy because Peter Sellers had died, and they sort of patched him into one with some outtakes and stuff.
Oh,
that's not good. But the ones where he was alive and in them are absolute classics, obviously. But Julie Andrews is not in them, but it's just that they were all running. It's all part of her life. It's all happening at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? Actually, I hated reading because I know Peter Sellers had his demons, whatever, but just hearing through Julie about Blake talking about working with Peter Sellers, just how hard it was to make a comedy with somebody who was so entirely depressed all the time.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, and like how he started going a bit mad as well, didn't he?
Right.
I mean, it very, very difficult.
Yeah, right. And then Blake got a massive crush on Peter Sellers' young wife.
Oh, Lynn Sellers, yeah.
Very awkward for both Peter Sellers and Julie Andrews, because it was so obvious. That's not pleasant.
No, but Julie was upfront about it. She said to Blake, look, I know what's going on. I can see it. Everybody can see it. And he kind of admitted, well, do you know what? Yeah, I do have something for her, but we haven't taken it any further and I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the next film he makes is called 10, right, which is a massive hit. But it's about this man who says, like, you want a woman who's a perfect 10. And he's married. The character in the film, because I watched the trailer, right, looks exactly like Blake Edwards, and he's the actor does, and he's married to Julie Andrews in the film, and then he sees this beautiful young woman who is an 11.
Bo Derek.
It's Bo Derek, and he then chases her all around the world, and it's Dudley Moore playing the sort of Blake character, and chasing her all around the world, and then falling in love with her, and then realising it might not be real. And it's like, well, that's autobiographical.
Crikey.
That's awkward. They've even got his wife playing his wife.
Yes. Yeah, no, I thought that. It is weird. And then they did another film that they filmed in their own house. And that was autobiographical. And Julie was playing his wife. And that was about his woes about being married. Oh, my God. It's kind of like almost psychological torture, isn't it, for Julie Andrews?
Yeah.
Plus, everybody on set knows as well.
Know.
It's just a bit weird.
Absolutely. And she does say a lot of stories about how charismatic he was, but then others that, he's abusing pills a lot and drinking a lot, and how difficult he was. And it's a few times in the car when you get really angry and just little things, and you think, this is not easy. This marriage is not easy. It's enough to paint a picture.
Yeah.
Mind you, she wasn't easy either, obviously.
The thing about Julie Andrews, though, and I guess it's the era has something to do with it. When you do look at her and her public persona, I mean, she is practically perfect in every way. She managed to maintain that.
She seems it. Yeah.
And I tell you what, when the newspapers said that she was having an affair with Sidney Poitier, but she dumped him because she thought it would taint her image in the Southern American states, she took that paper to court and she won, and she got a full-page apology. She wasn't having an affair with Sidney Poitier, was she? No. No, she can't have been.
Yeah.
If she won the...
No. Didn't she say she'd never even met him or something crazy like that?
He presented her with the Oscar.
And that's it. That's the only time she ever met him. Yeah.
So she kind of, when scandal encroached her, she shot it down.
Yeah.
So she maintained her public
image whilst having a nightmare life.
Yeah.
With everything going hideously wrong, with everybody being so messed up.
She admits to really losing the plot and shouting at everyone a couple of times. And one of them was when she got a TV show, the Julie Andrews Hour, and it was really grueling because it's TV, and it was something like 25 episodes a year, and the workload, it was like 14-hour days. And she said that's when things came to a head with her. Like, she can't cope. She can't cope with the family. She can't cope with the work. She said that show won 7 Emmys, but it was not renewed for a second season. She said she'd never been so relieved in her whole life. Out of interest, I went onto YouTube, and all of them are on YouTube. The whole season, the Julie Andrews Hour, is on there. And I watched a bit of her doing a duet with Mama Cass, and oh my God, it transported me to a different place entirely.
Wow.
Both of those voices together were just so pure and just wonderful. I'm gonna go and put some on the TV, I think.
Oh, brilliant.
And watch them.
Well, I watched a 60s medley with Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews. That was fantastic.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I recommend that. It's like the sort of thing Jimmy Fallon does now with Justin Timberlake going through all the raps.
Right.
That's like, I was like, wow, that wasn't even original, was it? Because they were doing it then, but it was like 60s music. And they did a musicals one. Yeah, really clever. Really clever. Yeah, they're really good at their jobs, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are consummate professionals.
They really are. When you watch that, you realise how totally skilled and dedicated she is to her job.
Well, she's like a Williams sister and Andre Agassi. These sports people started at like the age of birth.
Yeah.
Well, Julie Andrews kind of was. She was singing from the age of 4, and then she was being trained through vaudeville. She got that singing
and that's their
teacher.
sport.
She is a world-class performer because she's been doing it from the age of 4.
Yeah, that's right. They're like the athletes of entertainment.
Yeah, they are.
Elite athletes of entertainment, yeah.
Have you seen Victor and Victoria?
Yeah, no, I haven't. And I watched the trailer. But I've heard of it as a musical on stage. I never even realised it was about a man called Victor and a woman called Victoria, but they were one and the same people. So it's about a woman impersonating a man who impersonates a woman.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I never knew. I wasn't interested in seeing it. I watched the trailer. It looks brilliant.
Then we should watch it.
I need to watch that as well now, yeah. Need to watch that. I need to watch 10. You need to watch Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
I need to watch Thoroughly Modern Millie.
All right, then that's a weekend sorted.
Yeah, all right, that's it. Sorted. See ya. Yeah. And she says at the end, Blake had a nervous breakdown. He fully recovered, and they had 25 more years together. He died at 88.
Yeah.
So he did quite well.
Didn't they, hey?
Yeah, they did all right.
Considering the stress they had. Yeah, they had good, successful, busy lives.
Yeah.
Actually, what we don't have time to say is that she wrote loads of children's books.
Yeah, she did.
Loads of them. I mean, in the back of this book, there's a bibliography. I mean, reading the book, you kind of think, oh, she wrote 2 or 3, but actually it's more like 30.
It's loads, yeah.
And then she did some humanitarian work as well, going across to orphanages and stuff. So
yeah, she did loads. Refugee camps, all that stuff. Very good job. Good job, Julie.
But tell you what, she doesn't talk about the Princess Diaries. They were really successful, weren't they? As an older actress, I think it was someone like Anne Hathaway. I'm totally making this up now.
I've never
but
seen
they were
them.
kind of more films in the last...
Is that bad?
No, well, you wouldn't, because I think they're directed at like teenage girls, maybe.
Okay.
But I was surprised that she never mentioned them. Actually, was the book written before she did them?
Well,
maybe?
no, she just stopped writing. She just got to Victoria and then stopped writing. And I thought, well, is this where the book ends? But then she says, Blake and I were married for another 25 years. So I thought, oh, okay, you've just decided not to write the next 25 years. Maybe she's saving it for a third book because she's wise.
Oh, maybe she's, yeah, okay.
She knows she can rake in a lot of cash from these books. She's in the business of books.
Yeah. Good point.
Yes.
Oh, well.
So to summarise, she isn't practically perfect. She's very, very amazing at her job and very ordinary in real life.
Well, is she ordinary? Maybe she's ordinary, but with the pressures of having a really successful Hollywood career, so she doesn't have time.
Exactly. Ordinary as in she's no better than anyone else at sorting out her own life. At all.
No, she's not.
She doesn't wave magic wands and umbrellas and sort anything out, ever.
Do you know what's funny about that?
Brilliant at work.
I bet that people in her personal life and like the mothers of her kids' friends and stuff, I bet they all expected her to be perfect like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot to live up to, isn't it?
Yeah, it bloody is.
Yeah, but I bet those other mothers can't sing.
I bet they can't. She turned down the role of the nanny in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. She didn't want to get typecast as a nanny. She's totally typecast as a nanny.
Yeah. One more wouldn't have hurt.
No, it wouldn't have, would it?
She could have also been Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a woman playing a man playing a woman.
oh, and Fanny McNee. What's it called?
Fanny McNee.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Thrift Shop Biography. We love making this podcast and we're absolutely thrilled that so many of you are already listening. You could really help us out by leaving us a review somewhere, wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you could share us, tell your friends about us, or drop some links on social media. We have a Facebook page called Thrift Shop Biography, so make sure you come over there to hear about the episodes first and what else we're up to. Okay, see you next week. And if you're new here, there are loads more episodes now to go and listen in the back catalogue, so make sure you go and enjoy them. Okay, thank you very much.